Who the heck plays at that cheeky angle? Or what are you even doing there? Those are just a few of the many questions I get asked in all chat whenever I get the best of the enemy team due to unexpected positioning. Now, to be completely honest here though, I ask the same questions when I'm at the receiving end of it. So, for those who don't believe positioning isn't as significant as it is, today's the day you're going to change your mind as I give you the ultimate positioning guide in 2025. If you're brand new to the game, this is something that could really skyrocket your progress. But if you really want to jumpstart your success, I want to introduce you to the 2 brand new courses we just published over on the SkillCapped site. These courses are designed to walk you through everything you need to know about climbing stupidly fast in Valorant. First, we have our Jumpstart course that we made to teach you the basics and expertly fast-track you through the beginner process. But once you're more experienced, we even went the extra mile and created this Level Up course to teach you the advanced tactics that players use to climb up into the higher ranks of Ascendant and beyond. Whether you're a brand new player or you're still trying to hit those peak ranks, these 2 courses will have everything you need to break past those plateaus and start climbing. There's a reason SkillCapped has become the only premium instructional resource in the scene. We invest and believe in our content. So much so that we even back it up with 2 guarantees. First, we give you 2 full weeks to explore all the things we offer, and if it's not for you, you get a full refund, no questions asked. Our second guarantee is that you'll climb at least 5 whole divisions, or again, you get every penny back, no questions asked. You've got everything to gain, literally nothing to lose, so get started by using that discount link in the description below. Anyway, back to the video. And to kick things off, we're going to be talking about on and off angles. Your positioning while holding angles can be identified into 2 different categories: on angle or standard angle, and off angle. First up, let's get a quick word from Valorant Pro Coach Aaron on the difference between on and off angles in a nutshell.
Unlike standard angles, if you're playing in an off angle, you only have one option: take the gunfight. This makes playing off angles extremely risky. If you get flashed, you're a sitting duck out in the open. Even if you do get a kill, there's a high chance you'll just get traded. Like, being away from cover and out in the open is just a terrible position to be in. But because of that, your enemies won't expect you to play in those positions. When they peek, the crosshair is going to be pre-aimed at the standard angle instead of the off angle you're playing, and your crosshair is going to be right on them. That's why off angles are so powerful.
On angles, as its other common name implies, are standard angles you hold that allow you to see enemies directly through your line of sight while still giving you a safe cover to back off into. You can either use these spots for taking active fights as soon as you spot enemies, then duck back into cover after peeking, engage in duels, and hide after missing your shots, or being passive by simply just hiding after spotting an enemy or 2 to give info to your teammates. On angles give you a variety of options to play whenever you hold from these spots, which make them pretty flexible and powerful at the same time. However, it's those exact traits that make them easy to anticipate for the enemy team and know exactly where you're going to be. Since on angles are considered to be standard angles, you can expect enemies to be pre-positioning their crosshairs toward those spots when they peek. Now, in those cases, you're going to have to either react faster than them or have a teammate ready to play off your contact to either trade or double peek with you. Now, the safety on angles provide comes at the price of predictability, so try to anticipate this ahead of time to compensate. So as we hop on Ascent here, let's name some of the common examples of on angles to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So moving on to off angles, as you heard from Aaron's brief description before, these are spots that enemies often do not expect because of how vulnerable it leaves the defender. Now on top of that, we can include cheeky angles from Sage Boots and elevated areas that only a few agents can reach with the help of mobility utilities in the off angle category. Now what makes them powerful is how they're capable of catching enemies and their crosshairs off guard. And if you're prepared to take fights with accurate crosshair placement, you're almost always guaranteed at least one kill before you go down. But since you're left wide open, flash utilities can be your demise here, so you can either react with a quick flash dodge or have a teammate shoot the flash for you if they're destructible. Now, the best way to play on off angles is by using agents who have a get out of jail free card. For example, that's Jet with her dash, Chamber with his rendezvous, Yoru with his gate crash, Reyna with her dismiss, Waylay with her refract. And some might even argue Raze with her satchel, but it could still leave you a slightly wider window of vulnerability compared to the others. Now, thanks to their utilities that allow them to quickly escape after getting a peek or missing your shots, you can compensate for the lack of cover from off angles. So remember, if you're playing on off angles, be prepared to take the risks that it comes with, or better yet, just do it on agents that can bail you out of the situation. Now, one of the best recent examples that we could show you here is this insane positioning and one done and out play from G2's Leaf on their match against C9.
Brooming with confidence is G2.
A tragic low buy for C9 to end this half. Leaf again going for the jump around this time. It does work. Third time's the charm.
Now, aside from Leaf's insane movement to quickly make it to that spot, which Cloud9 obviously didn't expect here, Chamber was the perfect agent to do a cheeky off angle like this one. And after a precise shot to Mitch, he gets out scot-free with the help of Rendezvous. So if you want to live to tell the tale after playing one of these off angles, you might want to start playing with agents who are capable of maximizing these cheeky angles. So here's some common examples of off angles you can find on Ascent. Moving on to our next bit about positioning, let's define the term angle advantage. You may have heard this before, so we're going to leave it to the wise words of Mr. Lowlander to explain it.
Peak advantage. How does it work? The further you stand away from the wall from where you are peeking, the less chance that the enemy will see you. In this example, I can see the enemy Killjoy, but he isn't able to see me. This is because Killjoy is standing close to his wall and I'm standing far away from my wall. In this beautiful art piece, you see how it works. Killjoy is standing close, he won't see me, but I see his arm. Killjoy is standing far away, we both see each other. This is also the reason that when people are camping in a corner, often the peeker will be able to see the camper first. So tip, when peeking something, make sure to create as much distance between you and the object from where you are peeking from.
So as you can see, positioning doesn't just apply to the defending side and people who are holding angles. You'd be surprised at how much it also matters when you're attacking or are the ones who are pushing into an area. Ever heard of or said the phrase, "How the heck did I die?" Or maybe, "I didn't even see him." If so, then you've probably been a victim of angle advantage. When enemies are holding from certain angles and you're pushing into them, you're giving them an early advantage by peeking close to walls. This is because you're exposing a shoulder, a leg, or maybe even just a pixel of your agent before you even get to see them. And as a result, they can react faster or just straight up kill you before you can even react to where they are. So let's take a look at this example here. Here I'm hugging the wall really closely before peeking the enemy. Now, there's an enemy in front who's anticipating a peek from where I am. Now, whether I peek slowly or even quickly, the enemy is going to see me first despite them not appearing yet on my minimap. Case in point, the angle advantage. To remove angle advantage from the enemy, you have to exercise awareness on where they could be possibly holding. And as a good habit to exercise, it's best to be as far away from a wall as possible, especially when peeking with a long-ranged weapon. The farther you are from the wall when peeking, the more you're going to be on equal footing with the enemy holding the angle. All you have to do next is to decide if it's a short, wide, or Ferrari peek to mess with your opponent's expectations. Now, on another note, you can also provide more safety to your peeks by simply taking advantage of utilities before peeking to give you the upper hand just a little bit more. Here's an insane example of angle advantage from the recent Champs T1's very own Izu against Edge on Split.
Backside as well, with only 30 seconds left, EDG are just losing on time.
Not again, right? We've had a couple rounds like this where they've really slowed down, where they've been held back, and Izu lands another. Place again, 10 seconds. Where else are you going to go? Where are you going? Izu! He's sending them down to hell. The second they step towards heaven is 2 more seconds. Oh!
After spotting multiple enemies on A main and ramps, Izu decides to back away with his dimensional drift toward heaven and pick up his op. Before the next bit, there are 2 major factors to consider in this scenario that we absolutely have to talk about. 1, Izu was able to position and hold the angle first before Chichu. 2, Chichu is peeking from a tight angle, which puts his agent very close to the wall. Now, as a result, he gets a bit more time to react as he spots Chichu's elbow, giving him a quick adjustment with his op. While it's also worth noting that Chichu was jiggle peeking while reloading to gather info, he might have not expected an operator in Izu's hands. Regardless, we can see from the clip how Izu was able to catch a glimpse of Chichu first, though. The rest comes down to reaction time and adjustment, as Izu takes down one of Edge's best players. For the last bit, we're going to be dipping our toes into the significance of high versus low ground when it comes to positioning. Remember Anakin and Obi-Wan's last duel before Anakin turns into Darth Vader? Well, that about sums up our description for gaining an advantage when playing on high ground. That's not to say it's impossible to win against an opponent who's positioned higher than your location. It just means that whoever is positioned higher is often going to be rewarded with more advantages. Now, why is that, you might ask? Well, it's due to the fact that hand and wrist movement feels more natural to moving downward than upward. So in terms of adjusting your crosshair or flicking, it's harder to flick up than flick down. Now, furthermore, you can adjust to more angles efficiently when you're at an elevated angle. Whereas if you're holding a high angle, you're going to have to adjust a lot if there's someone else below, hence making it difficult to face against a high-low setup. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, you can also use agents that can get on top of unreachable places for cheekier high ground angles. And the best candidates for this tech include Jet, Raze, Omen, Chamber, and Sage via wall boost. The only drawback to playing on high ground is that you tend to be easier to spot. However, you're going to be granted with a brief element of surprise, so do try to capitalize on it quickly to avoid the enemy adjusting to your position. Also, try not to do it every single round so you can still maintain some unpredictability against your enemy team. An overused tactic, soon going to become an expected tendency that your teammates will be glad to exploit and prey on.
All right, though, guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little bit more about SkillCapped. So we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and we think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's kind of like a gym membership guaranteeing you that you're gonna get ripped. Your local gym probably go bust if they offered you that. But not us, because we've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium Valorant guides on the internet. We add new courses every month with over 1,000 guides curated into over 50 courses. No one can compare. We also have a direct line of communication with subscribers in our Discord so that you can get connected immediately to some of the best players in the game, who will respond to every question you ask. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you're serious about improving your game. So that's going to be all for this one today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.